Hey everyone, I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask some questions and I'd go ahead and answer those questions. So a few weeks ago, I put a post up on YouTube asking for just that. Submit your questions and I will do a video to answer those questions to the best of my ability. And that's what I'm going to do in this video right here. So let's dive right into it and let's see where this goes. So first question. I often feel my body vibrating and it gets stronger when I'm falling asleep and when I'm waking up. Can you explain what this is? Well, there's a couple of different things going on here, many different things really. But when you're falling asleep, your brain waves are changing. They're dropping down into the alpha, theta, and then eventually delta brainwave state when you're deep asleep. But when you still have awareness of your body and those brain waves start to drop down, energy starts to move. You start to get more present thoughts. Your mind kind of slows down a little bit. That's representative of the alpha and the theta brainwave state, theta being a meditative type of a brainwave state. So when we slip down into these brainwave states, what happens is we start to move our high frequency light through the body. It starts to flow because we don't have the resistance. We don't have the walls up. We don't have the mental chatter going and things like that. So oftentimes you're going to feel your body really start to vibrate. You'll feel that energy moving through you, very similar to when we start receiving downloads, when we get into, again, a coherent state, brainwave heart coherent state. The hemispheres of the brain are talking and communicating and energy is free flowing. We often start to feel the vibrations. We start to feel that energy moving through us, and that is high frequency energy that you are perceiving. Now, remember, when we fall asleep, we are expanded in our awareness. Our awareness is off on a different plane of existence. Our body is still here, but our awareness is off, multidimensionally traveling, doing work, meeting with your star guides, galactic guides, things like that. So that energy is moving. We're in a higher frequency state of awareness at that point. So as we transition from this dense state of 3D living into that sleep state, that energy starts to move. And that's exactly what you're feeling at that point, right before sleep, as you drift off. And the same thing happens as you awaken, as wakefulness returns, your awareness of your body comes back into play. You feel that high frequency energy vibrating through you. So next question. Why do I feel like my guides have abandoned me? This is one that I could have asked because this happens to me all the time. I get into these periods where I feel like my guides have abandoned me. Well, we are here to learn, to ground our higher self, to bring our multidimensional aspects online. That is happening as our DNA gets activated and we upgrade our energy and we rise in frequency. Well, the guides are here in the very beginning of an awakening process. For me, it was a spontaneous awakening. I had my guides very, very present. There were many, many guides coming forward, a lot of communication and things like that. Well, that's being guided. You're being guided at that point. Okay, you're being guided inward. My guides helped me through the healing process, how to heal, how to get present, how to get centered, how to open up to higher states of awareness and consciousness and things like that. So they come in and they work with you on that. But then at some point, it's like the training wheels have to get taken off. So they kind of, take the training wheels off and give you a little nudge, and you kind of got to feel it, figure it out on your own at some point, right? So we start to do the work ourselves and we really get focused on that. And our awareness really shifts away from out here to in here. And as we go through that process, it can feel very lonely. We feel very detached. We feel very separated. We where did the magic go? We kind of have those feelings. That's what I had. Where did all the magic go? Well, it's all in here. Okay, so initially when all that stuff starts coming in the beginning, it's out here, comes in, it gets your attention, but we have to shift it inward. And my guides worked with me on shifting it inward. And during that process, you will feel detached. But as you continue to do the work, the energy will start to reconnect up in here. You'll start to find them again within here. It's a completely different perspective. So when you're looking for them from the perspective you had when you were at a more unhealed state, an unhealed version of you, that's not going to be the same perspective that you're going to be using now. A lot of times the mind wants to go back to that because that's what the mind knows, but we don't want to do that. What we want to do is be okay with not having them present front and center, without having them the way that we had them before. Continue to do the work because you have the knowledge now. So you do the work regardless of your awareness of them, and get back inside, continue to create space and expand and heal. And what'll happen is you'll find them in here, because our guides are really higher aspects of us. They're versions of us. We can't experience anything externally that is not us. Okay, everything's a reflection. So remember that. They're not gone. They've just maybe gone into hiding so that you could find them again. And you use everything that they've taught you, everything that they've told you in the beginning stages of your awakening to find them. Literally, it's like a game of hide and go seek. So detach, let go from from being separated. That's a limiting belief. Continue to do the work. Have trust in the work that you're doing, the knowing that you know everything is good and that you haven't lost anything because it's all you, and bring that focus inward. Continue to do that work, and that connection will return. I promise. Okay, next question. How do I deal with fear? Wow, yeah, there's a lot of fear. Certainly the past few years, right? How do we deal with fear? Well, the best way to deal with fear is to realize that fear is an emotion, and it's a necessary emotion. It keeps us safe. The problem is the ego turns that into everyday situations and wants to keep you safe emotionally from getting hurt and things like that, not just physical danger. So how do we deal with that? The best way to deal with that really is to bring awareness to it and recognize what's happening, what your mind is doing, and where it's bringing up that frequency of fear, that vibration of fear. Where is that emotion rearing its head? And you have to be on the lookout for that, bring awareness to it, create space by recognizing that that is your ego doing the best that it can with the information that it has, which is the programming and the limiting beliefs. So when you could do that and start to recognize the fear, then you could start to be present with it, because you're not going to run from it. You're not going to want to distract yourself as much from it. That doesn't lend to healing. We want to sit with it and we want to fully feel it. And you're going to get to a point as you continue to do this and work with fear where you're going to want to lean into it a little bit. So when a fearful situation comes up, I'm not talking a life and death type of situation, obviously, but a situation where the ego says, there's a red flag there. And you know, because you've created that space, that there's no red flag there. That's just my ego overreacting again. You can lean into that fear a little bit. And that could represent taking a chance on something, maybe changing a job or something within a relationship, or maybe even doing something exciting that you've had fear for in the past that has prevented you from doing it. Maybe, I don't know, skydiving, something that just comes to mind, something like that. So you're going to realize that you're going to start leaning into the fear a little bit, because you've created space and you're able to recognize what your mind is doing and how it's creating a reality for you that really isn't representative of who you really are, who you truly are. So that's the best way to deal with fear, essentially bring awareness to it. Okay, next question. I would like to know about implants. Is it possible we chose to have them? Yes, it is possible, because I had one. I had one in my neck, and I know the person who asked this question had one in their neck as well. And it burned off when I reached a certain frequency, and my guide was there when this happened. I was sitting and all of a sudden felt a sharp pain in the back of my neck and felt something there. Had never known there to be an object there, and it was an etheric implant, so it wasn't really a physical thing, but I was able to feel the hot area and a little bit of a bump after it had burned off. And my guide told me that I had reached a certain frequency. So essentially, we come in here and we have moments, flashpoints, and a lot of those flashpoints for many of us are awakening moments. And I had an awakening moment where I had a big jump in frequency. My crown popped open and had that amazing experience I talk about in prior videos, and continue to grow at that point. So I was working with my guide. I reached a higher frequency threshold and it burned off. It was no longer needed. So we come in here, we have a timeline, and we have certain karmic things we want to work through, certain events we want to experience. There's soul contracts, things like that. And I believe that these implants are placed for us to be able to keep us at a certain frequency or below a certain frequency, maybe, so we can have these certain types of experiences. We need to have that veil of forgetfulness to really get the full experience out of that. That's why we come here into this frequency. So yes, we can choose to have these. There's implants, ET implants, alien implants. I know you see a lot of that on TV and stuff like that. When we look at it from a high enough perspective, it's really all kind of related, because we come in here and we choose to have these experiences, and how those experiences play out is something that we set up on a soul level, and the type of experience we're going to have. For some people, there's etheric and even physical ET implants. Again, those are the experiences that they're here to have. And for me, it was something that was keeping me kind of on a timeline until I was ready and hit that predetermined point where I was supposed to really take a jump in frequency. And at that point, that burned off. And that's when I became aware of it. Next question. Will my God, guides, higher self, guardian angels guide me and help me to support my wealth? Okay, this question was asked by somebody who no longer resonates with 3D. And when we move off out of that type of preconditioning with the traditional job and things like that, will our guides support us? And you could even extend that to the universe. Will the universe support us? The answer to that question is you will support you. We like to say the universe will support us, our guides will support us. And the answer to all of that is yes. But remember, it's all a reflection and it's all you. So what holds us back, and I've gone through this myself, are our limiting beliefs, how we feel about ourselves, our self-worth, worthiness, our confidence, our self-esteem, things like that. When we could work with those programs and get seated into our soul essence within our body, all that stuff goes away. All the limiting stuff goes away. And when we're looking for external forces to support us, like the universe and our guides and things like that, we're in a way giving our power away to some sort of an external thing. And that's what our ego wants to do and likes to do, because if things don't come along, maybe money doesn't come, we're not as successful as we had hoped, the ego has an out. It has somebody or something to really place the blame. And that's disempowering. So when we could turn that around and realize that we are in control of our destiny, we are in control of our lives, all we need to do is get seated in the body, reconnect up with our soul, and get that energy flowing through us. We have the power and control to fully support our wealth. And when you get into that energy, you will realize that all the limiting beliefs, all the limitations, the perceived stuff vanishes. It's not there any longer. So that's where we want to get to. We want to get to that. And we do that through the healing work that we do, through the breath work, meditating, coaching. If you need help, assistance, coaching sessions, that's something that I offer and help people with. So that's the answer to that question. The power is within you. And when you can fully work through your limiting beliefs, your guides are going to revel in that. They're going to join you in that success. But you are responsible for that. And you have the power. We all have the power within us to do that. Okay. Why don't I have any more questions? That was a funny one, because somebody had responded to the post with a question and said, how come I don't have any more questions? And that in and of itself is a question. The more present we get, and the poster did mention this about presence, the more present we get, the more access we have to information, to knowledge, the Akashic record, your Akashic records, universal knowledge, quantumly connected, all that kind of thing. So that is going to start to come through as a knowing inherently. Okay, so when we find that we don't have any more questions, it's because we're in such a deep state of presence that we're able to just be okay with everything. And when you're okay with everything, because you're in the present moment, you're accepting of everything, you really don't lack an answer to anything, do you? It's all available to you right in the present moment. So if you're finding that you're just good, everything's great, and you don't have any more questions, you're diving deep into that now moment, and that's an awesome thing. Does Earth have beyond the basic 7 chakras, and where are they located? Yes, Earth does. We all have many chakras. There are 12 main ones, 7 within the body. Earth has 12, 7 within the body. Those are the main ones. And they're located in various areas throughout the planet. Now, these chakras, just like they are within our body, they're different frequencies, vibrational frequencies. So there are different places on the planet that have matching vibrational frequencies. So there's some debate, maybe not debate, but some disagreement, I guess, on where these chakras are located. But I'm going to give you an example of a few of them. So if we want to look at like the root chakra, I think there's a pretty good consensus that the Earth's root chakra is located at Mount Shasta in California. The heart chakra, there's a little bit debate there. I've seen England, and I've seen Maui, Hawaii. I've always thought it was in Hawaii. So that, take it as you want. Again, different areas on Earth could have the same frequency. So that's that. The Earth's throat chakra, Mount Sinai, the pyramids in Egypt, is a place that is associated with the Earth's throat chakra. The crown chakra, interestingly, is Mount Kailash in Tibet. And that is so fascinating to me, because when I had my experience where my Pleiadian guide took me to New Earth, it was New Earth essentially, and I was in that cabin. She was there, and I had craft coming and going. There was a beautiful mountain landscape when I looked outside of this cabin, and I started to do research as to match that up on the internet. What was I seeing? Where was this? And it led me to Mount Kailash in Tibet. So very fascinating. That is the Earth's crown chakra. Earth has more chakras. The star chakra located in London. Let's see what else I have here. Yeah, the stellar gateway chakra located in the Arctic. So you can look these up, and you'll see that there are certain chakras identified with certain locations, and there's a little bit of disagreement. You may find certain lists that have certain locations, but they're not all consistent. It's not important. We know where these energy centers are located. What's important is if you visit these energy centers, and by the way, you can visit these energy centers etherically. You don't have to visit them physically, like I did with Mount Kailash. That was etherically. That's where this house was located in New Earth. The frequencies there will help to activate and align you within certain areas of your body, the corresponding frequencies there, just like our singing bowls do, the Tibetan singing bowls, the crystal bowls. I have a crystal bowl. Those align with certain chakras based on a frequency. So you'll have one for the heart, one for the root, whatever it may be, that can really help you to get those spinning properly. So the Earth has these locations, things like that. Like I said, Maui, Mount Shasta, Kailash. So keep that in mind. Focus on the frequency. Visit these places etherically. You can do it in meditation, and they will provide you with a very powerful healing energy. Your guides can also assist you in going there. I know with Mount Shasta, many have had bilocation experiences with healing chambers, crystalline healing chambers, and things like that. So a lot of these areas around Earth that are very, very powerful. And yes, they do correspond to the frequencies of the chakras. So hope that answers that question without getting too technical into it. That's all I've got as far as the questions go, guys. I do want to mention that I added to the free membership on my website, soulintegrationcoach.com, the Learn to Perceive Aura live webinar that I did last year. I believe it was last year. It's about 45 minutes or so. That is available for free if you sign up as a free member on my website, soulintegrationcoach.com. I'll put a link below. If you're looking for coaching sessions, things like that, I'm offering 50% off of live private coaching sessions for the next few weeks. So go ahead and send me an email through my website, soulintegrationcoach.com, and I will hook you up with a promotional code for 50% off a coaching session. So I want to be here for you guys. The energy is really wacky. I'm feeling it too. So definitely feel free to reach out if you need assistance, and I'm here to help you. So I'd be grateful if you share this video, at least in one place. Let's help get it out there. I'm trying to help kickstart the algorithm with YouTube. Give it a like for sure if it resonated with you, and subscribe if you're watching me for the first time and have not subscribed to the channel already. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.